Guest, Dylan Smith. What's going on, baby? How you doing, my man?
I'm great, Freddy. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be back in a studio. I haven't been in one forever.
No, absolutely, man. Like I said, man, this is the new place, right? The Frequently Labs, and we're gonna get you in here to start, doing some more of these for the dyslexia things. But yeah, this is a new place, man. I'm loving the new set, man. I'm loving everything that's going on. The quality of work is gonna be absolutely amazing, man. And I wanted to have you back because I want to do a follow-up, right? Because this has been like about a year now, right? Since we did our first episode, right?
Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, right, it was the first time you're being interviewed, right, on the show, right?
As a guest,
As a guest, right? So I'm honored to have you there because that episode was really the start of an amazing friendship, man. And I like to say that because it's just, it's only been a year, but it's been a crazy lot of what's happened this past year, huh?
So much has happened.
Now, I know like what they said, right, in the last episode, I want to recap, right? Like one of the things that we said about a year ago, right, for you, one of your goals, you wanted to have an event, right? You want to go out there and host an event. Now, it's been 1 year, and I'll let you break things. Well, what have you done this past year, my man?
So I also wanted to open up with, you hosted an event.
Yes, sir. Yes,
right?
sir.
So we're going to talk about events for a second.
Thank you.
And you brought up some things, and I did when you called me.
Yeah.
The week of your event, you're like, hey, can you come through, come on the stage? And I was like, yeah. So I also did my research back on you again, listened to our podcast again, and I'm like, in that episode, if anybody listening follows back to that first episode, I said I wanted to go in schools, I wanted to host an event, I want to do this, I want to do that. I accomplished everything in that episode and more.
Absolutely.
By the time we were on stage at your event.
Yes, sir.
But back to your question is, since then I've hosted 2 events and sold them both out over capacity.
That's right, man. It's been absolutely amazing events. But unfortunately, I didn't make it to the first one. But the second one, I was just a couple weeks ago. It's just been absolutely incredible, man. I'm still feeling the after effects of that, man. Just the people that were in the room, the energy, the vibe, and just that, like that. That's why, like, I took you aside in there, right? When we were going there and everything was going crazy and stuff. And I knew where your mentality is, right? Like, you wanted everything to be perfect and everything's going on, and you rushing back and this and forth. And I just grabbed it. I was like, yo, listen, Dylan, just take a second, man. Just take a second. Look around this room. Just look around and look what you did.
Yeah.
Look what you've accomplished. Like, you did this. Everybody's here because of you. Nobody else, bro. Like, just soak it in for a moment. Appreciate the little wins, man, because, it's going to be gone tomorrow, right? And, you really had to soak it in. And I just want to do that because, again, like I said, it's been a year and everything that we wanted to do and more, we've just grown so much. And it's been incredible, just having you as my back, having you in my corner, man. I know we got so much more things going on in the future, man.
Yeah. I mean, it was an amazing moment. You got to meet some people that I told you stories about.
Absolutely.
See
Like
my
Pappy.
family, my mom, my pappy.
Absolutely, he's a great man, and Pappy's gonna be. I'm getting him on the show, man. We're gonna get him in to see somehow he's gonna be on here because that is a great man. So I was just so looking forward to speaking to him.
Yeah, it was a big deal for him. I signed in, and I got in trouble for that event actually because I signed an insurance contract that not one more person would be in that room except 56. So we sold 60-something tickets. And then when I looked up at my keynote, you were in the room. Every seat was full, and the perimeter room was filled, which was over 60-something people.
Right.
So I got a fine, a nice $600-something fine for that. But I was like, Brandon, dude, like we can't somewhere in 56. He's like, that's a good problem to have, though. Like,
exactly.
Just pay the fine.
That's it. Sometimes you gotta eat those, man. You gotta eat those, man. Like I don't know if you've seen that, right? Well, it was Mark Cuban. I love this one where they interviewing him, and he was like, "Yeah, you just got fined $50,000 for cursing on national TV." And he was like, "What?" He was like, "Really? So if I do it again, it's another $50,000 going to that charity?" They was like, "Yeah, fuck it." Like that was, I mean, like So sometimes you gotta do that, right? And that's a great problem to have. And like you said, man, to think about at 21 years old. In the course of a year, right, you went in your start and said, listen, I'm doing this, that, and the third. It's what I want to accomplish. And you did every last one of those things. And you got huge things coming up in the future, man.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it was crazy. At 21, we went on tour to schools. I had an assistant. Me and him drove my Toyota Corolla on tour and spoke to a bunch of schools, and we were paid for it, which was crazy. When I walked in on the first stop on tour in Virginia, one teacher I saw wearing my shirt. I'm wearing it now. It's like, that's crazy. Another teacher appears around the corner, has the shirt on. I walk into the office, the principal's wearing the shirt. I, at the time, didn't have much control over my shirt orders.
Right.
I didn't know. My assistant didn't tell me. He wanted to surprise me. The school booked, so every staff member was wearing my shirt. So when I got on stage, I looked up and everybody has my shirt on.
That's incredible.
I was like, what? This is like, I wanted to cry, but I had to speak to the board, and I could not The whole board, they all had it. Teachers, everyone was like, what the heck? Walking through the hallway, I had security. Every teacher had a shirt on. Like, oh my God, how you doing? Like, we rolled up to the school. It's a private Catholic school. Gate opens. It was like Dylan Smith. He's like, oh, we got Dylan Smith here. And then complete, like celebrity status treatment.
There you go, man.
It was nuts.
There you go, man. That's just a compliment. Like you said, like we say, speak things into the universe, right? We were just talking about that before the show. And just the law of attraction, right? If you know what you want, speak it out there, make it known so that it can come to you and it can find you, right? So that's what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
So this is incredible, man. And just like that too, like and being at the 50th event when you came through, right? I had the pleasure of meeting some of the new people around you, right? You know what I mean? When you came into the studio, when I met you for the first time, I was just there. It was Dylan Smith.
No crew,
no crew, nothing like that, man. It's just this young kid, so eager, ready to go, full of energy. And just so inspiring. Like I said, man, you know what I mean? I'm looking at you and I'm just like, man, like this kid is so inspiring, man. Like he really gives me energy to go and it's something, to chase and inspire. So it's just incredible that you're able to do that. And then now that I see you at my 50th event, and now you got your little crew, so and I want to speak to some of them. So I'll let you do the rest here, right?
So there's just stories like obviously, the structure behind the Final Odds Day, we've spoken about it.
Right.
It was to help those who need it most. So many people have so many questions about, like Freddy Fox. How did you get started becoming Freddy Fox? Dylan, how did you start? You could tell anybody what you did, your exact steps. That's easy.
Mm-hmm. But
if they don't want to be Freddy Fox, America's Big Brother, your steps aren't going to help them.
Absolutely.
If they don't want to be Dylan Smith, DS for Dyslexia, my steps aren't going to help them. But steps that we've taken, they can use. Right? So I've had a lot of people come up to me and they're like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do this? I want to do this. How do I do this? I'm not happy where I am. And this gentleman, he was like,